another man with gunshots when they missed and hit Nakia Aldridge as she was pushing her baby in a stroller. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Investigators in Jackson, Mississippi are confident they caught the man who committed a shocking crime. They don't know why he did it. Randy Bell has more.
As friends, family, and church leaders prepare for a memorial in Jackson today, investigators are still trying to determine a motive for the murders of those two Catholic nuns in Durant last week. Warren Strain with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation says some of the initial speculation may have been wrong.
Robbery. Most unlikely.
And he says while it's true that both women were stabbed, they also suffered other types of injuries. So MBI won't be sure about the cause of death until the medical examiner's report is complete. The suspect in the crime, Rodney Sanders, will make his first court appearance today. Randy Bell in Jackson.
This is USA Radio News, and I'm Rod Williams Stoll. News 24/7 at usaradio.com.
We're here to fix the machine. Battlefield Live.
You're listening to the Battlefield Live with Chris Pilier from Lanterns Radio Network, the Battlefield Live radio program. Want to thank you for joining us today, folks. If you want to give me a call, you can call me 504-556-9696. And we got a ton of stuff to cover tonight. I think I got a pretty interesting topic, as usual. This will be a little bit, I think all of our topics are pretty unique, but there's sometimes a common theme, and we may cover that here tonight. You can also, if you want to, on social media, you can tweet me at Paul Revere again, as well as at Lanterns Buzz for the Lanterns Radio Network. You can also reach out to us on Facebook at facebook.com/Lanterns Buzz. And you can reach me as well on Facebook at facebook.com/Paul Revere again. So this is an interesting question. I started thinking about this, and I'm sure some of you have been paying attention to what's going on with Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick, I guess how you pronounce it. And, you know, a lot of people get pretty outraged by what he's been saying. And obviously he's been very divisive. And quite honestly, I'm trying to figure out why people are giving him so much attention, because now what's going to happen is people are going to start mimicking it. It's kind of like, you get these instances where you get like a mass shooter comes out, mass murderer is what I'd rather call him, comes out and shoots a bunch of people, and then you get some copycats because they feel like they can be immortalized by, disgusting acts of humanity. And I think that the same thing happens in these cases with like what's going on with Colin Kaepernick. People can see they can get some spins in the media. Everybody's looking to be a star. It used to be people used to go run down the field and catch a football. Now you have to have a special freaking dance. And some of the kids like it. Oh well, whatever. I like the fact that people can catch a ball and put stats up, and score touchdowns. The same thing happens in social media. Kim Kardashian types. They want to take pictures of themselves naked or filming themselves in undesirable, or I don't know, maybe desirable ways. Depends on which way you look at it. And I think it's just people are trying so hard to live in the material world that they'll do anything, including act like, stupid idiots. So what I wanted to talk about tonight, and the question that I've asked, and you can actually see the question I asked on Twitter and Facebook is society being devolved into tribalism? Oh, yeah, there he goes. Chris going into his isms. But no, seriously, I want you to think about this because, I always been, looking into what is going on with society and how things have changed over the many years. And, what's the state of our culture? And these are things that always have interested me. And one of the things that I've found really interesting about what's going on with Colin Kaepernick and his refusing to stand up, during the national anthem is that the media has gone absolutely haywire. I mean, Facebook and Twitter has blown up. I mean, people are talking about this like you would never see. I would imagine that if a nuclear bomb was blown up in Pakistan and launched from, I don't know, North Korea, I'm just throwing that out there, that would not get as much coverage if Colin Kaepernick didn't stand up for the national anthem. And why is that? Why is it that, the massive amounts of criminal activity that I would say, alleged criminal activity of Hillary Clinton is getting no coverage in the media, but yet Colin Kaepernick can get all this coverage? Is it possibly that maybe the media is trying to cover that instead of covering Hillary Clinton? There's more coverage, and Pence actually mentioned this, and he's absolutely right. There's more coverage from divisive tweets by Donald Trump than the 30 years of nefarious activity that Hillary Clinton has participated in. Why is that? Is it the so-called establishment that Donald Trump talks about? I would imagine that plays into it. But how does this tie all back to tribalism? What is tribalism? Well, tribalism is a state of being organized in or advocating for a tribe or tribes. Okay, I know. We're not running around in loincloths throwing, bones at each other and, pulling each other's hair and, we're all dressed up like Fred Flintstone. That's not what I'm talking about. Tribalism is, in a sense, it's the grouping of or the classifying of people, right? Putting us in these groups. And part of this is because we've done it to ourselves. So I want to, we got football season that's right here in front of us. And look, I'm a football fan like the rest of them, baseball fan. I'm not one of the type of fans that follows all the stats. Like you could probably call me and say, hey, Chris, who's the quarterback for X football team? And I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not that big. I actually follow NASCAR a lot more. I know. I admit it. Folks, I admit it that I'm a NASCAR guy. Call me redneck, whatever. I am a half Cajun, half frog down here in Louisiana. Yeah, the French. Pilier. I mean, look, it's got an accent aigu at the end. But I've been looking at what goes on with sports, and I've been kind of contemplating this over many years. So why is it that we identify with certain teams? Think about that. I'm down here in New Orleans. I'm a huge Saints fan. And I say I'm down here in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans, but I'm actually living closer to Baton Rouge. And I'm a big LSU fan. Once again, call me up and ask me who the starting linebacker is. I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan. You can ask me who the pit crew chief is for Jimmy Johnson in NASCAR's 48 Lowe's Chevrolet, and I'll tell you who. I know that stuff. But I'm a big football fan. I'll probably watch most, if not all, of the LSU games. I'll watch a lot of the Saints games. In some cases, it'll be at a local watering hole with some friends, eating some chicken wings and having maybe a beer or two. But do you follow a team? Are you to the border? Or are you borderline vigilant against other competitors out there? I mean, if you ever been to a Saints game in the Dome, it gets rowdy in there, man. It gets rowdy. It's not like a Philly game. I mean, the Philadelphia, folks up there, boy, they get some rowdy. They be throwing stuff at people, and hell, if it snows, watch out. Snowballs will go flying. But does the fact that we have all of these teams kind of bring us together in sort of a tribal manner? And is it productive? That's a question in itself. Is it a productive form of what I would say a form of tribalism? Once again, tribalism is the state of being organized in or advocating for a tribe or tribes. So I'm asking this question because I think that it's part of our nature to want to be able to identify with someone or something, and that we actually naturally want to, find something like this, that we have some sort of allegiance. Colin Kaepernick doesn't want to be allegiant to the United States. because he can't identify with it. He believes that it's oppressive. And what does that come from? Well, that language is of class warfare. It's a form of what Marx would say an evolution of tribalism. Stick with us on the battlefield, folks. We'll dig into this a little more. I'm interested in your calls. You can call us at 504-556-9696. We'll be right back.
Check out DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops. Don't miss out on their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You get $2 domestic bottles, $1.75 domestic draft, 2-for-1 well drinks, $3 small daiquiris, and $3 wine. On Friday, happy hour starts at 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. DBC also has everything you need to make it your fantasy football headquarters, with 13 big screen TVs, the Sunday NFL package, and ESPN game plan. You won't miss a down. DBC wants you to have your fantasy draft party here. Just call 504-838-2282, 504-838-2282 to book your draft now. DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean,
like
this is totally
gyroscope.
fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show. Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com. Battlefield Live, listening to Chris Pilier from Lanterns Radio Network. If you want to give me a call, 504-556-9696. And wanted to mention a couple things. Spreaker.com. If you're interested in our podcast, you can follow us on Spreaker.com. Just do a keyword search for Lanterns Buzz. And you can also look for us on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and player.fm. Just do, like I said, a Google search for Lanterns Buzz, the hashtag Lanterns Buzz, and you can find us everywhere. Twitter, you can follow me at Paul Revere again, as well as at Lanterns Buzz, which is the Lanterns Radio Network. Facebook.com/Lanterns Buzz, as well as Facebook.com/Paul Revere again. Do have an announcement, folks, and I know that this may come to a shock, at least I'd hope. This week will actually be the Battlefield Live's last week on WGSO. And while there's been we've had some great shows here and really enjoyed our time with the folks at WGSO, there's some things that we're working on the Battlefield Live that is going to consume a lot of time. But we're going to continue. Our show will continue on Spreaker.com as well as SoundCloud and other places. But our home is going to be, and it has been, Lanterns Radio Network. And we'll be, doing a whole bunch of things there. And I'm actually in the second hours, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about what we're doing on the network, which is an internet network. And I think you'll be really, really interested in that. But by all means, folks, WGSO has been so gracious to us, and it's been a pleasure. And by all means, you got to continue to support local radio, terrestrial radio. I listen to them every time I'm in the car in New Orleans, or you can check them out at WGSO.com and listen to the stream there. So, been talking about tribalism. I know it's another ism. We always talk about all these isms: progressivism, communism, socialism, conservatism, all these different isms. And if you're playing the drinking game, like some young kids do, when I say German existentialism, you have to drink. Yes, German existentialism. All right, so where am I going with this tribalism? Well, I have been having a theory for quite some time, is that we have a natural tendency to try to identify with things or people or groups of people, and it's our natural tendency to do so. And in some cases, to a nation. We have an allegiance to a nation, or we may have a allegiance to a certain football team or a baseball team. Some of us are, allegiant to our colleges that we went to, if we're alumni, or high school football teams. All these different things that we try to identify with and we get excited and passionate about. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think we need to explore what happens with society in this case, and what are the bad aspects of that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, before I wanted to go any further, I wanted to bring on our good friend Brian. What's going on, Brian?
Good evening.
You there?
How are you and your family?
We're doing really good, Brian. It's we've been really busy with the storm, but things are starting to normalize, at least for us. It's still a shame that so many have been affected out there, and we're trying to do our best as a community to take care of them,
I truly hope, especially for Denham Springs and all the other small little towns that have been pretty much wiped off the face of the map, don't go through what New Orleans has not come back from, is that one house and an entire block is fixed and the rest of them just fall in complete disrepair. And what we are 11 years now, and look at the houses falling on other houses in New Orleans. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen in Denham and other small little towns.
Why do you think that is, Brian? Brian, what do you think that is that New Orleans in some places has not recovered from Katrina, which was what? It was 11 years ago?
It's 11 years ago today.
Yeah. Wow. It is the anniversary. Wow. I totally forgot about that. I'm glad you reminded me. Why do you think it is that so many places haven't recovered?
Right now, about this time, you could hear the tornadoes going overhead in Metairie. There's nothing in the English language that I could even try to explain it to you, the sound. It was like the gates of hell was open. The air and the wind, it was a moan. It wasn't even a scream. It was the most ungodly moan I have ever heard in almost 70 years.
Wow.
I don't know any other way to, and people were dying out there somewhere.
Right.
That was before the levees broke.
Yeah, 1,875 died during the storm.
Yes, sir.
During and after.
And one out I will not understand is, I believe it was Lower St. Bernard, where the owners left all those elderly people in that home and just left them there to drown.
Such a shame.
To float on mattresses the best that they could until the mattress hit the top of the roof of the ceiling, and they all drowned. And not even a charge was given.
Yeah, it's I can't even fathom that. After going through what we've gone through down here, and we had, I think, 13 people have died during the storm, which is, it's tragic but amazing that only 13 perished. And I think it's just a testament for, the type of people that we have in this area. And look, I don't know that I'm sure we have the same type of people in New Orleans, but something happened differently. And I don't know if it's a technological difference. So, we had so much technology we were able to use social media. It boggles my mind, and I've explored that in other shows, but I just find it fascinating. You can drive through New Orleans East, and it still looks like a year or two after the storm came through.
If you take the weeds that in some places are 7 and 8 feet tall, if you take that away, it looks like the hurricane was yesterday without the water.
Yeah.
And it's not changed. And the reason, because the mayor of at the time had other priorities, and the mayor that we have now has other priorities, and it's not the people of New Orleans. Because if it's the people of New Orleans, there'd be street signs by now. There'd be more street lights.
Right.
It wasn't too long ago you had that pizza delivery man that was trying to make a living to feed his family, and he had driven into an area he knew he was in trouble, and the weeds were so high where he was at a four-way cross section, he didn't see the guy come out of the weeds, and that's when he was shot and robbed. So it's just, I don't know what it is with Mayor Landrieu and how he can sleep at night. I have no idea. He has no conscience. He can't.
Right.
But one thing, and this is going to kind of lead up to what's still going on with the illegals all the way almost down from Bolivia that are coming up. And I'm not talking about what happened with the bus accident. I had a cup of coffee, well, quite a few cups of coffee a few days ago with a Jefferson Parish employee at the David Drive Traffic Courthouse. So I went just for the heck of it and sat in the back, all the way in the back, and listened for about an hour and a half. And I have not ever in my life seen discrimination against whites and blacks the way I have. I don't know in I don't know how many decades I can say.
So Brian,
almost half, a little bit less than half of those that were there were Latinos, Central South American, Hispanic, and they were in there for some serious stuff. Driving with no license, no insurance, no license plate, no brake tags, and they were involved with high-speed chases. They were involved in accidents. They had tickets that they hadn't paid on. They had where they never showed up for court. And then something I found out after I called, just to see if I heard correct, they didn't have translators for a good number of them. So they had to find an employee at the courthouse so that they could interpret. I thought that was the way it went. Well, just a little while ago, I found out that Jefferson Parish is supposed to charge $600 an interpreter. For everyone that can't speak English, it costs them an extra $600. Now, one Hispanic that had multiple, some of them had 6 and 7 different offenses today, and not one charge.
So let me ask you this, Brian, because we only got a minute left here. So I tell you what, look, we got a minute left here, and I gotta finish this up, Brian. I thank your call, but I'm gonna build on what you were just talking about there. Thank you for calling us. Please call us again. So Brian's talking about the racism that he's been seeing, and I think it's really important to talk about in this idea of tribalism. So when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about that. So stick with us on the Battlefield Live radio program. We'll be back after this short break.
Check out DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops. Don't miss out on their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You get $2 domestic bottles, $1.75 domestic draft, 2-for-1 well drink, $3 small daiquiris, and $3 wine. On Friday, happy hour starts at 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. That's right, 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. DBC also has great food for lunch or dinner. You have to try their mouth-watering, appetite-satisfying 8-ounce brisket burger, cooked to your liking. Another favorite at DBC is their Wednesday night steak night. You get a 14-ounce ribeye with a side of garlic and mashed potatoes, green beans, and garlic bread for $15. On Thursday night, you can't go wrong with their 8-ounce hamburger steak, smothered in gravy and grilled onions with a side of garlic mashed potatoes, peas, and garlic bread for $9.95. You can check out the rest of their menu online at dbcbarandgrill.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean,
like
this is totally
gyroscope.
fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Conditions apply.
USA Radio News with Rod Williams-Dole.
Spending goes up. Taxes go up. Hundreds of thousands of jobs disappear. It's more of the same, but worse.
That's part of a $10 million buy ad for Donald Trump in 9 states. Target is looking to ride the Pokemon Go wave. The retail chain plans to turn the large red spheres into Pokeballs. 400 stores will participate. They said they wanted to create an extra special experience for Pokemon fans. Actor Gene Wilder dead at the age of 83. His films include Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, The Producers, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
This is USA Radio News.
Have you ever come home from work to find out that the power's out? You reach the power company and they inform you that it'll be out for another 8 hours. Panic sets in. You've been told to prepare for this before. Bottled water, radio, flashlight, easy to prepare meals. And for the next 8 hours, everyone is on edge. No AC, no TV, no hot dinner tonight. What will happen to your family if this same situation were to last 2 days, a week, or even a month? This is Colonel Rusty Humphreys to tell you about Heaven's Harvest. Heaven's Harvest has long-term storable food and water products that will ensure your family's well-being through any man-made or natural disaster. Don't wait for the power to go out. Go to heavensharvest.com and secure your family's well-being today. That's heavensharvest.com or call 800-516-4773. Again, 800-516-4773. heavensharvest.com. Use promo RUSTY and receive free shipping. heavensharvest.com. That's heaven.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. Well, it's been 265 days since Queen Hillary has submitted to a news conference. No other presidential candidate in modern history has been so effective at avoiding the press. Instead of watchdogs demanding answers, the press has become liberal lapdogs, accepting whatever Hillary Clinton feeds them. And yesterday it was a bunch of chocolates. After some reporters asked her questions, Hillary didn't provide answers, just candy. And the willing liberal reporters lapped it up. When is she going to address the rumors about her health, the scandals involving her emails, the foundation, Benghazi? She doesn't have another event on the schedule for 5 days. Donald Trump has multiple events each day. One candidate seems healthy, the other doesn't. Maybe Hillary Clinton has been eating too many chocolates. But we do know this, and next time she offers reporters chocolates, they should turn her down and say, no, we want some answers. More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate.
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean,
Like
this
a
is totally
gyroscope.
fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show. Battlefield Live, you're listening to Chris Pilier from Lanterns Radio Network, the Battlefield Live radio program. Reach out to us on the phones, 504-556-9696. I'm interested in your comments about this Colin Kaepernick situation, as well as, I don't know, whatever else you want to talk about, like tribalism. We're talking about tribalism. You can also tweet me at Paul Revere again and at facebook.com/lanternsbuzz. There's a whole bunch of things that are going on, folks. And, digging into this tribalism, what is tribalism, right? Tribalism is a state of being organized in or advocating for a tribe or tribes. And it's an interesting thing. I like Wikipedia as a starting point for my research. Of course, when you research something, especially when it comes to like current events and in history, you always want to go check out the resources to make sure that it's not some guy that, sitting his underwear in a basement somewhere putting this stuff together. You want to find the resources. So there's a lot of really good things that come from Wikipedia, but you gotta be careful. But definitions are usually pretty close. So this inside of this Wikipedia article for tribalism, they got an interesting part. It's called Tribalism and Violence. Anthropologists engage in ongoing debate on the phenomenon of warfare among tribes. While fighting typically and certainly occurs amongst horticultural tribes, and an open question remains whether such warfare is typical feature of hunter-gatherer life or an anomaly found only in certain circumstances, such as scarce resources or among food-producing societies. Okay, where am I going with this? If we're naturally tribal in nature, in other words, we try to get ourselves together and group ourselves together, and some, like Marx would say, that we put ourselves in certain classes. I would argue that people put us into classes, and then we try to, if we're not educated enough to realize what they're doing, that we'll put ourselves along into those classes just to belong, right? The Black Lives Matter movement happens to be, black nationalism, if you will, or black socialism, depending on which angle you're looking at it from. But it's about identifying with the struggle of African Americans, right? Occupy Wall Street, was a movement to, identify and have solidarity with the people that were oppressed by Wall Street, evil bankers, right? Tea Party was the constitutional conservatives coming together to support our Constitution and the founding of our country. And look, we can go through the whole list. La Raza, is for the plight of the oppressed Latinos in the country. The race is what La Raza stands for. So have we kind of attached ourselves to football teams, baseball teams, race car teams, like I do, because it's our natural order to be able to identify with something and try to file some type of allegiance to something? Do we do this as a nation state, where we set ourselves and make allegiance to a flag, right? So the controversy, I think, that has taken place with Colin Kaepernick is, I think, because a lot of people, it was shoved in their face by this guy, along with the media that were, pandering to this type of idiocy. I think that the American people were upset because, for the most part, Americans have pride in their nation. And here it is that Colin Kaepernick is, shoving it in our face. He won't stand up. And, of course, it's created this ruckus throughout the media, which has taken up a lot of, the vacuum, if you will. So here's an article out of The Atlantic. If y'all haven't read The Atlantic, it's kind of like reading Pravda almost, but it's got some good stuff every now and then. Here's an article that says, could more NFL players join, Kaepernick's protest? San Francisco 49ers quarterback, Kaepernick, refusal to stand for the national anthem before games as a protest against recent high-profile incidents of police brutality and racial injustice have been met with criticism and protests, but is an important step for a league where professional athletes rarely speak out on such issues. So here's The Atlantic. This is Matt Vasilagambras, I guess is how you pronounce his name. Says Kaepernick was noticed sitting down during the playing of the Star Spangled Banner in a preseason game Friday. When asked by a reporter about his actions, he said, I'm not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. Now, I asked this question to our good friend Fast Eddie that called in the other day, and I can never seem to get an answer from our liberal friends out there. And I think that Fast Eddie and we could sit down for a cup of coffee like Brian was talking about earlier, and we could come to some agreement on a lot of things. And one thing I'd like to be able to ask him and others to really try to sit down and answer the question is, if there's systemic racism, like Kaepernick is saying here, then why is the system that is run by two black Americans, why is it so racist? Why is it that these two leaders of the system that is supposedly systemically racist, why are they allowing this to happen? If it's systemic, look up the definition of systemic, means it's throughout the entire system. So if it's not throughout the entire system, that means it's isolated in certain parts of the system. It's not ubiquitous, right? So the idea that bodies are laying out in the streets because a police officer murdering blacks, to me, it's absurd. I mean, if you look at the sheer number of the amount of police officers in this country and the amount of deaths that take place at the hands of police officers, it's minimal at best. And in this, there's a small fraction of those deaths that occur to blacks. And it's a very, very even smaller minority. And we actually did the numbers here on the program. I don't have them in front of me. But that number was very, very, very small. It was like 0.1% were actual cases where a white officer shot and killed black citizens and were guilty of shooting the black citizen, like 0.1%. And in fact, more whites were killed by officers than blacks were killed by officers. So the narrative that's being built here is one built on what? It's built on tribal allegiances. Here's a guy that is not showing allegiance to the United States. He's showing allegiances to Black Lives Matter. Why? Well, because he believes the lie or he's participating in the lie, one or the other. I'm not sitting here saying that all the Black Lives Matter people out there are bad. I'm not saying that all the police officers out there are good and virtuous. It's not the case. I'm simply looking at the stats, the numbers. The numbers do not back up the claims. In fact, I saw Milo Yiannopoulos, which I'm not a big fan of, but I actually listened to his podcast because he's got some interesting perspectives. Milo Yiannopoulos, he's a Breitbart contributor, and he's a provocateur, blogger, and a podcaster. And he was, a part of what we'd call the alt-right, We've talked about the alt-right briefly on our previous program. I think it was Thursday. The alt-right, most of the people within the alt-right have called for more, what? Tribalism. They're calling for tribalism. Now, what's interesting to me, and we've talked about tribalism before in a different way. We talked about it in class warfare with Marxism and things of that nature. But the idea of all this class warfare, this tribalism, if you will, is all foreign to American soil. This is not a philosophy that was grounded in our founding. And I think that ultimately it tears us apart. It destroys us. And so we got to recognize the good and the bad, but we also got to recognize the fact that we are susceptible to the bad tribalism. And we'll discuss that a little bit more on the back of the this break here, folks. Stick with us on the Battlefield Live. You're listening to Chris Pioye from Lanterns Radio Network, WGSO 990 AM. Call me 504-556-9696. We'll be right back after the break.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Check out DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops. Don't miss out on their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You get $2 domestic bottles, $1.75 domestic draft, 2-for-1 well drink, $3 small daiquiris, and $3 wine. On Friday, happy hour starts at 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. That's right, 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. DBC also has great drink specials throughout the week. Monday, $6.25 large daiquiris. On Tuesday, $1.75 domestic draft. Wednesday, $3 small daiquiris. On Thursday, $1 off all imports and craft beers. DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops.
Listening to the Battlefield Live radio program. So I've asked the question, sent it out on Twitter at Paul Revere again and at Lanterns Buzz. Are politicians agitating different groups of people? Black Lives Matter, Tea Party, alt-right. And I think this is an interesting dynamic. If you look at those three groups, they're all diametrically opposed to each other in so many different ways. In the Black Lives Matter movement, you have more of the left-wing, socialist, progressive, I would say European left type of group. Then on the alt-right, you have the right-wing fascist type European group. And look, not all people within these movements identify as it, but they are following a group that has articulated principles of these different ideologies. In other words, Black Lives Matters, you go look at their webpage, go look at the principles they stand for. They looking for a united workers of the world. It's like basically communism. You just got to go read the webpage. It's not that difficult. And if anybody refutes it, go send them to the webpage. There may be people in the group that don't understand what the group stands for. That's okay. Well, they should educate themselves. It's okay to support some of the things that they may believe. I don't. I do believe that there is injustices on occasion. We don't have a perfect justice system, but we have probably the most perfect justice system known to man. And then you have the alt-right, like I mentioned, is that right-wing European fascist-style ideology, white nationalism in some cases. And while that may not be, the KKK type stuff, but it is the white pride, Caucasian pride, doesn't mean that they want to exterminate blacks and hang blacks. No differently than black pride, I don't agree with either one of those because I don't think that we should identify ourselves by some fictitious label that we've determined through race. We've had that discussion on this program before about race and how it's been fabricated in order to divide people. Right? In so many cases, they want to divide us along gender lines now. And then not only they want to divide us on gender lines, but then they want to blur the edges about what is gender. Like, how do we define our gender now? And I think like 15, 20 different gender profiles. It's ridiculous. It's insanity. So our politicians agitating different groups of people, and they're playing to this tribal nature that we have. I mean, these are interesting topics, and I'm curious because I think that let's look at it another way. How about this? We know that sex sells, right, folks? Why is it that sex sells? Is it the fact that human beings are sexual in nature? I mean, if we weren't sexual in nature and we didn't enjoy the act of sexual intercourse, we wouldn't procreate. I mean, it's a lot of work, right? If it didn't feel good. I mean, it may be kind of crazy to look at it like that, but that's what nature is all about, right? I mean, if you believe in God like I did, I believe God gave us that gift in order to get us to procreate. Now, I think we abuse that in many cases. I don't want to go down that road, but so how does this tie into tribalism? Well, if tribalism, if we're naturally try to attach ourselves to a group of people, can politicians abuse that nature of ours no differently than advertisers can abuse our sexual nature? So these are like provocative questions, folks, and it's intended to be that way because it does make you challenge your personal views. It makes you challenge what you believe. It makes you try to remove some of the allegiances to people that maybe you shouldn't be allegiant to. I'm not saying that, go throw away your favorite Breeze jersey if you're a New Orleans fan. I'm not. I enjoy football, and just because I think this way doesn't mean that I need to get rid of it, because the natural aspects of being tribal in nature, I think, are a good thing in some cases. Instead of us being violent, we enjoy football games. We cheer on a team instead of cheering on people beating up each other. But we need to understand the way to differentiate that. We can't, as we put on the Drew Brees jersey, if you're a New Orleans fan, at the same time put on an alt-right shirt or a Black Lives Matter shirt if we truly understand what they stand for. Be careful of where your allegiances are. Why Colin Kaepernick refuses to stand up to the American flag. The American flag represents something that is greater than we could ever imagine. There's never been a country that's been more judicious and has provided more social justice than the United States. Does it mean it's perfect? No, not at all. It's not at all perfect. Does it mean that we haven't had blemishes in our history? Of course it doesn't. We've had tons of blemishes in our history. But if you don't look at it through the perspective of reality and not your own biases, you'll notice that the United States is the most just nation, arguably, in history. Not only do we eliminate oppression here, but we eliminate oppression all around the world. Could we have done it in better ways? Of course we could have. But the fact of the matter is we did. Look what happened to the Soviet Union. Ronald Reagan didn't even fire a shot and took down the wall. Now we're wanting to build a wall here in the United States. Why? Because we're trying to protect our nation. We're trying to, you can look at it in a tribal way there. We're trying to protect our identity. But while some would want to put a wall up to keep people from coming in, there's other people that would build a wall to try to get people from going out. And those are the people that are trying to divide us now. Because the system that they're trying to put in place will not be a desirable one, and nobody will want to live in that one. If we're such a hateful place, people, why are so many people dying to get here? I'm thinking of the imagery of people on top of trains, thousands and thousands and thousands of people on top of trains, rushing 50, 60 miles an hour on the verge of death across Central America without food and water to come to a racist, bigoted, homophobic place, right? It doesn't make any sense. But where are they coming from? Places like Venezuela, Bolivia, Colombia, places that don't have the human rights record that we have here in the United States, places that don't have the justice that we have here. So let's put things in perspective. When we have our grievances against certain parts of our system, that's okay. We need to be vigilant. We need to talk out about them. But we need to understand when people are playing us. And if you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever, Oriental, Asian, whatever category you want to put yourself in, if you want to join into those clubs and identify yourselves as that, I think you're selling yourself short. So if you're interested in this further discussion, we're going to continue this. We're going to go into a little different historical aspects of this. Take your calls at 504-556-9696. You can tweet me at Paul Revere again or at Lanterns Buzz. Or you can reach out to me on Facebook at facebook.com/Lanterns Buzz or facebook.com/Paul Revere again. We'll be right back after the short break on the Battlefield Live radio program from Lanterns Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. I'd like to introduce WGSO General Manager Richard Tate.
WGSO is locally owned and operated right here in New Orleans. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasize local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, we have some prime spots available.
Thanks, Richard. Folks, take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
What are you doing to stop traffic? When your business is ready to wow the pants off customers, visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just a trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
This advertisement does not constitute an offer to sell a franchise. The offer of a franchise can only be made through the delivery of a franchise disclosure document.
Fresh Healthy Vending is a new company that is revolutionizing the vending machine business by filling them with healthy and natural foods. That's right. Protein and energy drinks, teas and juices, yogurts, fresh fruits and veggies, soy milk, natural cereals, granola bars. Can you imagine that? It's like having a whole food store in a machine. And you can get in on the ground floor by getting your own Fresh Healthy Vending franchise. You can have your own small business placing healthy food vending machines all over your area in places like schools and hospitals and businesses and airports and other high traffic areas. Locations that embrace the idea because, they make money too. Full training and support and assistance in acquiring locations. It's all about timing, folks. Pick up the phone, make the call to Fresh Healthy Vending, and get all the details on what could be your big life moment. Get Fresh Healthy Vending franchise information now. Call 800-424-8282. 424-8282. That's 800-424-8282.
Anytime, anywhere. Smartphone, TuneIn Radio app, WGSO.com. On the AM dial at 990, we are WGSO, New Orleans.
USA Radio News with Rod Williams-Dole.
Our counter-ISIL campaign and our efforts to promote greater stability in Syria and to respond to the refugee crisis.
That was Deputy National Security Advisor Ben Rhodes. He says President Obama will meet with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, and they will have a lot to talk about at the G20 summit since the recently failed coup attempt in Turkey. A woman is safe after she was rescued from the cliffs above La Jolla, California. Here's the story from Randy Fuller.
Authorities say she was hiking along the Ho Chi Minh Trail above Black's Beach yesterday afternoon when she injured her knee and couldn't make it back down. San Diego Fire Rescue sent a helicopter to the area and took her to Scripps Memorial Hospital, but her condition is unknown.
An Italian prosecutor says shoddy construction work may be to blame for some deaths in last week's earthquake in Italy. This is USA Radio News.
Hey everybody, singer-songwriter Brett Watts here. If you're like me, always on the go, and don't have time to stay as healthy as we would like by eating all the right foods, well, I found an incredibly simple and easy way to get all my fruits and vegetables at once. It's called Daily Lift, L-I-F-T. It's a superfoods energy drink mix supplement that fills the gaps between what you eat and what you don't always have time to eat. This unique formula is packed with 16 plus fruits and vegetables and 59 superfoods, no MSG or GMO. It's all natural and organic, nature's best combination of antibiotics, enzymes, probiotics, and beneficial allergies in one powdered drink mix. Comes in two flavors, mint and berry, and both delicious. Daily Lift nutrients help balance your body's pH levels and boost your energy naturally. And it's safe for kids. So let's fire up that immune system and stay focused. Go to www.onedailylift.com. That's ONE, dailylift.com. OneDailylift.com, and let's get healthy.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel in Chicago is stepping in to block an attempt to draw Governor Rauner's wife into the dispute between the governor and the mayor. David Stewart reports.
Diana Rauner's work with Mayor Emanuel as a child advocate predates her husband's election, and she praised the city's expansion of pre-kindergarten.
It's been a privilege for the Ounce of Prevention Fund to partner with the city of Chicago.
But when a reporter tried to ask how she'd advise her husband and the mayor to get along better, Mayor Emanuel intercepted the question.
I would no more let you do that to Amy than I'll let you do that to Diana. So you get a second retry. That's just not fair to her. Okay, not a problem. Don't forget that, though, okay?
David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
We'll learn soon whether hundreds of community-minded bikers in Ohio were able to set a world record. They were all going to start their motorcycles at once, a Guinness World Record. The Ride for the Record event was a fundraiser for a group that builds homes for people with disabilities. This is USA Radio.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
Hardship. My grandmother would go through it every month to pay her insurance bill. First, she would handwrite a paper check in cursive. Then, using her own tongue, she would wet a stamp for an envelope. Today, however, we need not weary our hands and tongues. Today, we can pay our Geico bill with the Geico app. Away with hardship, in with bill pay on the Geico app. Thank you.
A generic version of the EpiPen is in the works after the drug's maker came under fire for a huge price spike, 400%. Laura Kontekin has more.
In a statement on Monday, Mylan's CEO, Heather Bresch, said the company's decision was in response to public frustration of the cost and would help make EpiPen accessible to those who needed it. The product, which is a one-time only use and expires every 6 months, further adds to the cost of treatment. EpiPen is used to treat anaphylaxis, which typically occurs from bee stings or food allergies and can lead to death if not treated immediately. Laura Kontekin, New York.
3 inmates are on the loose after breaking out of a northwestern Louisiana prison early this morning. How to get 3 million hits on the internet? Well, 2-year-old Violet Ogia decided to do it by singing the alphabet. We joined the alphabet already in progress. This is USA Radio News. I'm Rod Williams Stoll.
Hey, it's Rusty Humphries from Trending Today.
We're here to fix the machine.
Battlefield Live.
You're listening to the Battlefield Live with Chris Pilier from Lanterns Radio Network, the Battlefield Live radio program. And folks, I want to thank you for joining us today. If you're interested in talking with me, you can call me at 504-556-9696. And I just wanted to take a few minutes here. I did mention earlier in the first hour that this will be our last week. Actually, Wednesday will be our last night here on WGSO, and we want to thank everyone with WGSO. They've been very accommodating. Has nothing to do with anything with WGSO. Is some personal decisions as well as some business decisions on the behalf of the Battlefield Live radio program, as well as our affiliate network, Lanterns Radio Network. And so I just wanted to mention some things that we're doing, folks. And, you know, there's a big task at hand. A big task at hand in really trying to make change that we need in this country. And it isn't all going to come from one group of people. We've been talking about tribalism on this program, right? It's not coming from one group of people. And it may not even come from one set of ideologies, right, or an ideology. I don't think that the country progresses in a positive way without the realization of what is right and wrong. What I've been working on, I would say, for the last 8 years now, has been a project that has gone into so many different aspects of this particular movement and trying to fix what's going on in this country. I started it, believe it or not, it was the name of constitutionalrevolution.us was the name of the website. And all it was just a place that I was trying to put a bunch of information together. In the process of me learning what was going on in the country, I wanted to be able to chronicle what I've learned. And in the process of doing that, believe it or not, I had to change the name because I couldn't be affiliated with certain things because it had the word revolution in it. Kind of crazy. But you know, I realized that there was another thing that I guess was a driving force. I felt like I was trying to illuminate people, I don't know about teaching is the real word. I was illuminating the light of truth for myself, and in the process of doing that, I wanted to share that with other people. And it wasn't going to be something like I was wanting to get people to pay me for it. I just wanted to share the truth. The truth should be everywhere. And I believe the truth is everywhere. We just have to look for it. And I think that so many people, that's the problem in this country, we don't look for it. So The constitutionalrevolution.us website transformed into what was lanternsofliberty.us. And it remained that for a very long time. And out of that particular blog site, I created a book with the help of Trey Roberts. And that book was Deus Ex Machina, The Progression of Secular Socialism. I know it's a mouthful. Sounds kind of heavy. And it is a little bit. But it was all the things that we had learned and trying to figure out why we were in the place that we were in this country. And the name of the book, Deus Ex Machina, the reason why we named it that, it was God from the machine. That's what that stands for. It's in Latin. God from the machine. And what it was that secular humanists, socialists you could call them, or progressives, communists is what they really try to achieve is communism, which is a utopian place that never will be achieved. And we were chronicling how we got to where we were. And once we got there, we realized we were in trouble. I remember Trey and I talking at night, sometimes 11, 12 o'clock at night, with our wives upset with us because we were talking on the phone for an hour and a half. We're like, man, we're in bad shape. And I don't even know if we can talk about this stuff on the radio. In fact, we were on the Tea Party Patriots radio network, and we got kicked off because of the conversations we were having. And they didn't want us to talk about religion, but we could not talk about religion because the problem that we were fighting was a religion. Secular humanism, socialism, progressivism is a religion. So we had to realize that we were fighting a religion, and we had to find its nemesis, the biblical worldview. And I'm not talking about, you have to be a Bible thumper to be an American. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about realizing what made America great was the biblical worldview, was the founders designed our nation after a lot of things that came out of the Bible. Federalism. Federalism came out of the Bible. Property rights came out of the Bible. And in understanding how we got there, we needed to figure out a way to fix it. And it took us a long time because it's easy to criticize things without giving a solution. And one of the ways we realized that we had a solution was we had to continue giving the truth. And we had to not stand up for a party. We had to stand up for the country. We've gotten a lot of criticism for being very critical of Donald Trump, but we couldn't go by the way of our morals and our principles. We couldn't push them aside just to vote for somebody that said he's going to win. At the end of the day, I'll end up probably pulling the lever for him unless he does something really stupid. But the point is that Lanterns Radio Network was the solution. That's what we came up with. We realized that we had to join forces with other people, other voices out there, bring them together in one location, give them a free platform to be able to share their opinions. This show is called The Battlefield Live. It used to be called The Battlefield of Ideas. And the reason why is because we all as Americans have to get on the battlefield of ideas and discuss things. We can't just sit in front of the boob tube all night. Football's great, but football should be a 2-3 hour event. And we go back to trying to do what's right and fixing the country. Lanterns Radio Network's motto is, we're here to fix the machine. It's not we want to fix a machine or we're going to complain about the machine. It's we're here to fix the machine. And we are. We're going to fix it. Hopefully, we don't lose a lot of lives in the process and trying to do it. We keep going down the wrong road. But we're here to fix the machine. That's what Lanterns Radio Network is. And what's really great is there's going to be a lot of very talented radio broadcasters on there. They're going to come there voluntarily to share their points of view. And it's all going to be in the name of fixing the country. We have all kind of ideas about how we do this, but we got to start talking about it first. And we got to do it arm in arm with other networks. So this is not a competition for other internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio like Red Nation Rising, like ICRN Radio Network. There's other networks out there. We're not trying to compete with WGSO. There's a lot of very powerful voices on WGSO. We can have allegiances to our companies and to our brands. We ain't going to fix the country unless we have an allegiance to the United States and America and what America stands for. America was great because Americans were good. We have to try to explain that to people now. It's not good enough to just go to the polls and vote, pull for the R, pull for the D. Okay. All right, I'm done with my civic duty for the year or for 4 years. We got to spread the word, folks. We got to continue doing this. So what I'm asking you to do is go to lanterns.buzz and join. It's real easy. It's simple. It's free. Hit the login, join link, put your name and email in there and join, and you'll get on our mailing list. And we'll be able to share all the things that we're doing. So stick with us on the battlefield. We'll talk a little bit more about that along with our current discussion about tribalism. You're listening to the Battlefield Live radio program with Chris Piolier on WGSO 990 AM and Lanterns Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Check out DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops. Don't miss out on their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You get $2 domestic bottles, $1.75 domestic draft, 2-for-1 well drink, $3 small daiquiris, and $3 wine. On Friday, happy hour starts at 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. That's right, 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. DBC also has great food for lunch or dinner. You have to try their mouth-watering, appetite-satisfying 8-ounce brisket burger, cooked to your liking. Another favorite at DBC is their Wednesday night steak night. You get a 14-ounce ribeye with a side of garlic and mashed potatoes, green beans, and garlic bread for $15. On Thursday night, you can't go wrong with their 8-ounce hamburger steak, smothered in gravy and grilled onions with a side of garlic, mashed potatoes, peas, and garlic bread for $9.95. You can check out the rest of their menu online at dbcbarandgrill.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com.
Battlefield Live. Chris Pilier from Lanterns Radio Network, 504-556-9696 if you want to give me a shout-out. Give me a call. Can't believe Gene Wilder died today. It was pretty devastating. I mean, I know he was up in age, but very made a lot of impressions on me. A lot of really good movies. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, of course, right? But I think Young Frankenstein or Frankenstein, whatever one. I think that movie was one of the movies that I liked the most because I remember my mother and father, which my mother has passed. I remember my mother and father sitting on the couch watching that movie and laughing. And I'd go sit in there and laugh with them. And I was younger, so I didn't get all the double entendres and all that good stuff. But as I got older, I grew to appreciate it. And it's a timeless movie. You know, it's a movie when it came out in the time of color television, and it was black and white. It was really just really witty. Of course, I think it was a Mel Brooks movie. I think it was Mel Brooks, but just a really, really hilarious movie, well put together. And Gene Wilder was just a genius. You know, Willy Wonka, of course, he was great in that, but I think his best one was Young Frankenstein. I guess that's the name of the movie. Is that right, Chris? Anthony, Young Frankenstein. What is the name of that movie? It was Young Frankenstein, huh? Frankenstein, right? He was always upset during the movie because he kept saying his name was Frankenstein. So I don't know. I'm bad with names. I'm bad with movie names. But you know, so if you get a chance, folks, if you haven't seen that movie, you got to see it. And look, it's one of those ones you could probably watch with the kids as well. So, so I got an article I wanted to read here. It's pretty terrible, actually. The article comes out of Chicago Tribune. August, most violent month in Chicago in nearly 20 years. Says in the weeks since he was shot in the back, 10-year-old Tavon Tanner has undergone several operations to repair the damage from the bullet that tore through his small body and remains lodged between his shoulder and his chest. The fifth grader is still in the hospital and still in pain, according to his mother, Melanie Washington. He doesn't talk as much and cries more often. Sometimes he'll ask if police have arrested the person who shot him. I tell him they will soon, Washington said. They will. No one was in custody as of Monday. Tavon was among more than 400 people shot in Chicago this month. There have been at least 78 homicides, marking August as the most violent month in the city in almost 20 years. According to data provided by Chicago Police Department, and there are more days to go, the city hasn't seen a deadlier month since October of 1997, when there were 79 homicides. For the whole year, the count was 761, according to department numbers. Chicago has recorded 487 homicides and more than 2,800 people shot so far this year, compared to 491 homicides and 2,988 people shot all of last year, according to Tribune data. Chicago has a lower homicide rate than many of other U.S. cities that are smaller in population. So how do you begin to fix that kind of stuff? Is this a systemic problem? We mentioned earlier systemic racism in our justice system. That's the claim by Black Lives Matter. Is this a systemic problem with all this violence that's taking place in Chicago? And why is it Chicago and not other cities? I mean, not to say that they don't have violence in other cities, but why is it that Chicago gets the most year after year? Why is it? Is it the fact that the Democrats been running that place for many, many, many years? 40 to 60 years, I think. Is Detroit similar to that for the same reason? If you notice, folks, Chicago has always got the most violent people. They have huge busloads of people for the Black Lives Matter movement that come out of Chicago to go to all these protests. Why is that? What is it that's central about Chicago that brings about all this violence? The ideologies there that put people in government over there, why is it that they're so corrupt? Not to say that there's not corruption elsewhere, but why is it that Chicago has always been known as the most corrupt city in the country? I mean, that's where Al Capone came from, right? I mean, that's where Saul Alinsky came from. Pretty corrupt guy. I mean, his mentor was Al Capone in some respects. What is it about Chicago? It's a beautiful city. It's the culture. And the culture has been groomed and created over many years. And the intention was to fundamentally transform the country, starting in Chicago. It's one of the places. Where did Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn settle in at? Chicago. Why is that? Why is it that so much destruction to the culture has started in Chicago? Barack Obama, where's he from? Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. Are these all coincidences? Is there coincidences that the University of Chicago is one of the homes to Frankfurt Marxists that came to the United States after Hitler took over Germany, along with other places like the University of Minnesota or Michigan? I'm sorry, Michigan. Very, very, very socialistic, liberal place. How about Columbia University? So my question to you is, are these institutions, these universities, turning to the point of destroying the culture rather than propping up the culture or illuminating the culture? I don't know. I'm just asking this question because the book that we wrote, Deus Ex Machina, points to the university as part of the problem. What we're seeing going on all around this country, I would argue, is due to radical ideologies that have been indoctrinated into our children. And as they grow older, they start to realize that these things don't work. Hopefully they do. In some cases they don't. Socialism, progressivism, communism, all these things, they don't work. But the people, the utopians that sit in these glass buildings, these higher learning centers that never really experience the real world, that dream up this crap, they're the ones that pump this crap into our children's heads. In many cases, the kids go to college and they come back a completely different person. In most cases, they're not better than when they went in. That's the intention, is they're supposed to come out, be adults and ready to go live a life and be productive members of society and creating jobs. Instead, they come out looking for jobs and go work for someone else. And then they complain about who they work for. Why? Because they're taught the religion of oppression. They were taught progressivism. We're here to fix the machine, folks. Lanterns Radio Network. That's what we're here for. You got to talk about the tough topics. We got to dig into the culture and find out what's wrong so we can fix it. Because that's where we got to fix it first. We ain't going to fix it. We ain't going to fix the government without fixing the culture. The government is a reflection of the culture. Stick with us on the battlefield, folks. We'll be right back after the short break. We'll take some phone calls. Be right back.
Check out DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops. Don't miss out on their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You get $2 domestic bottles, $1.75 domestic draft, 2-for-1 well drink, $3 small daiquiris, and $3 wine. On Friday, happy hour starts at 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. That's right, 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. DBC also has great drink specials throughout the week. Monday, $6.25 large daiquiris. On Tuesday, $1.75 domestic draft. Wednesday, $3 small daiquiris. On Thursday, $1 off all imports and craft beers. DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com.
Get licenses for the products they offer.
USA Radio News with Rod Williams-Dole.
Our counter-ISIL campaign and our efforts to promote greater stability in Syria and to respond to the refugee crisis.
That was Deputy National Security Advisor Ben Rhodes. He says President Obama will meet with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, and they will have a lot to talk about at the G20 summit since the recently failed coup attempt in Turkey. A woman is safe after she was rescued from the cliffs above La Jolla, California. Here's the story from Randy Fuller.
Authorities say she was hiking along the Ho Chi Minh Trail above Black's Beach yesterday afternoon when she injured her knee and couldn't make it back down. San Diego Fire Rescue sent a helicopter to the area and took her to Scripps Memorial Hospital, but her condition is unknown.
An Italian prosecutor says shoddy construction work may be to blame for some deaths in last week's earthquake in Italy. This is USA Radio News.
Hi, I'm Joan London. When I needed to find senior care for my mom, I really struggled to find the right fit until I found an advisor, someone who had been through this before. That's why I recommend A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. They have experts who will help you ask the right questions and find the right place. Call A Place for Mom today.
To speak with the local senior living advisor, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-469-7591. That's 1-800-469-7591.
A Place for Mom has helped over 200,000 families find the right senior care for their parents, from assisted living to independent living, even Alzheimer's care, and have local advisors that can help explain your options at no cost to you.
To speak with the local senior living advisor, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-469-7591. That's 1-800-469-7591.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. Well, it's been 265 days since Queen Hillary has submitted to a news conference. No other presidential candidate in modern history has been so effective at avoiding the press. Instead of watchdogs demanding answers, the press has become liberal lapdogs, accepting whatever Hillary Clinton feeds them. And yesterday it was a bunch of chocolates. After some reporters asked her questions, Hillary didn't provide answers, just candy. And the willing liberal reporters lapped it up. When is she going to address the rumors about her health, the scandals involving her emails, the foundation, Benghazi? She doesn't have another event on the schedule for 5 days. Donald Trump has multiple events each day. One candidate seems healthy, the other doesn't. Maybe Hillary Clinton has been eating too many chocolates. But we do know this, and next time she offers reporters chocolates, they should turn her down and say, no, we want some answers. More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com.
Thank you for sticking with me on the battlefield. Chris Pilier from Lanterns Radio Network. Give me a call, 504-556-9696. Go to the phones. We'll talk with Phil, the Patriot. What's going on, Phil?
Hey, good morning, brothers and sisters. Evening, brothers and sisters. Listen up. Recently I heard that a very popular firefighter was killed in a terrible highway accident by an illegal alien that New Norman could have arrested 6 months ago at least. Well, guess what, New Norman, Mr. Newell, and Barack Obama, and all those people out there that believe in open borders, you have innocent blood in your hands. This guy didn't have a driver's license, and he was working for cash under the table. Now, brothers and sisters, we have to stop these illegal aliens coming into this country. Now, people that come here, that want to work and help the country and be law-abiding citizens, I agree with that. But I don't agree with evil domestic terrorist organizations like the Ku Klux Klan, Parenthood, also known as Black Lives Doesn't Matter, No Parenthood Allowed, and the ACLU, the Anti-Christian Luciferian Militant Unions, and number 3, the Southern Poverty Luciferian Lawlessness Centers, and the Black Lives Matter Marxist Moron Associations. Mr. New Norman, how do you feel about having a man in this country that comes over here and drives a vehicle and kills one of your best firefighters?
All righty then, folks. That is your message from Phil the Patriot. So let's go to another phone call. Eddie in Gentilly. What's going on, Eddie? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Don't you love the Patriot?
Oh, you got to love Phil the Patriot. This is Fast Eddie.
His heart is good. This is Fast Eddie.
What's going on, Fast Eddie? You get to catch Phil the Patriot on some of the other stations out there?
Not catch him on GSO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he offers some enlightening entertainment, needless to say.
Always. Okay, let me give you an idea how I grew up.
Okay.
I grew up in the Seventh Ward. We had plasterers, brick masons. They go back 100 years as far as their skill level. And I talked to a lot of guys now. They're not hurt. Also painters. They're not hurt by, you see Mexicans, Latinos, all this kind of stuff. They're not hurt by that. They're not affected by it because they don't have the skill level that these guys got. When I was a kid, I worked with one of them one time, and he was a brick mason.
Mm-hmm.
All I would do was hand him All I would do was hand him a brick, and he would tell me I was too dumb to do anything other than hand a brick. But what he was telling me is there's a right way to hand somebody a brick, and there's a wrong way. You talk to a real brick mason, and you can look at their work, and you can tell that it's real. So people complain about Mexicans taking work from them. When I talk to my neighbors, that kind of stuff, they don't affect them. They do houses on St. Charles Avenue. They do the best houses.
Right.
They have a value. The painters, they book for a year. But I talk to lower-level skilled craftsmen, and they have a problem with Latinos because they can undercut them as far as price. This I understand, and I think the biggest problem in America is that they're getting undercut by cheap labor. And whose fault is that? That's the culture of greed. Do you understand that?
Yes. And look, let's expand on that a little bit, because one of the things I hear that often about is greed. And what is greed, right? So greed is a form of self-interest that relatively is negative in nature. In other words, it's in excess to what we should normally pursue for our self-interest. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the nature of a business is to try to generate the most amount of profit by eliminating costs as best as possible, right? That's typically what businesses do, right?
Okay, but let's look at the St. Charles Avenue.
Let's finish my thought. Let me finish my thoughts, and then I want to get your feedback on it. We can go into that too, but I want to start off with this. So typically businesses, I think you would agree that businesses generally try to generate profit in order to be able to fulfill their goals as a business, and they'll do that at whatever cost. In some cases, it's not good. Sometimes it's greedy, if you want to call it that. So labor costs happen to be a part of that.
I'm a labor guy.
Right. So there's some people out there that will go around the law in order to be able to hire people at cheaper wages. And there's other people that will try to get the law changed in order to be able to get cheaper wages, right? There's two different types of corporations out there that are trying to seek cheap labor, right?
Sure.
So the issue that I have with the immigration problem we have, that's part of it, but that's really not the issue that I have at hand. The issue that I have at hand is the cultural problem. And the cultural problem is that people come to this country and they are allowed to blend into the culture without understanding why our culture is great. Doesn't mean it's perfect. It just means it's great. It's a great culture.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem I have is that the immigration discussions never discuss the culture. It's always these material things like people stealing our money through wages and taking the work from Americans. That's one of the problems I see. But what's happening is we're losing the culture. We're losing what it is to be American. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I think the culture is basically work ethic and
right.
having pride in the work that you do.
Right.
To me, that's number one. If you want to make a living, you have to have a great product, period.
Right.
So that's the work ethic culture, if you want to put it that way.
Right.
You understand? So
yes.
Who's got the best product? I believe Americans always, any day of the week, got the best product. But I'm not knocking Latinos. I'm not knocking anybody because I want to be in this country. It's the best goddamn country in the world. Am I right?
Yes.
So wouldn't you want to be here? I have no fault in them, but my problem is undercutting, going low on the price.
Right. So if they want to be here, I understand that I want to be in a great place, but understanding why it's great, that way it remains great, is really what I want to try to accomplish in immigration. I don't have a problem with immigrants. But what I do want to do is make sure that the immigrants, when they come here, that they can blend into our culture, assimilate into our culture in a way that perpetuates the culture that we have, not destroy the culture that we have. And a lot of times people come here because they want to take the money that they make here and send it back home. That's a problem. But
well, you're talking the same thing as somebody moving to Tremé area,
mm-hmm.
and they say the music's too loud. Well, that's the way it is. So don't try to change a neighborhood because the music's too loud. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't move into an environment and you have no idea about the culture of that area. I love Tremé. I love going to see big bands. I've seen jazz funerals where they go from one building to the other, dance on a casket. You see nothing like that nowhere else in the world.
You got that right. That's New Orleans, baby.
The culture. Don't move in the neighborhood and say, well, the music's too loud.
Right.
Why move the French Quarter and complain about music?
Right. You're right. And it's the same thing as the music in the United States is our Constitution. It's our freedoms and liberties that we have a government that protects those. And in some cases, it's not that black and white. And that's not not pun intended, right? It's the fact is that there's so much in our culture, but we have to understand why it is our country's great. We hear Donald Trump say we need to make America great again. And look, whether you like Trump or not, my question is,
what does he mean by make America great again?
Right. And how can we make it great again?
What does he mean by that?
Well, that's the big question. I would first ask.
This is still the greatest country in the world.
Right. With
all the issues that we got, this is still the greatest country in the world. I can tell you that any day of the week. Me and the Patriot agree on that. So
I would ask the question, if we want to make America great again, let's just play along with that. Then why was it great in the first place? Why is that never being discussed? The premise that Donald Trump is coming across is that the last, probably 16 years, if not longer, has been really bad for the country, and he thinks that he's got a prescription that can make the country great again. And it has to do with trade, dealing with our trade system and trying to, which I don't like his trade policy. He's also looking at closing the border and, being stricter on immigration. And of course, he flip-flopped a little bit on that. So he's got a plan that he's kind of formulating. I don't necessarily agree with everything.
He started out with putting the walls up, all that kind of stuff, but you cannot get rid of the immigrants because they're doing the work that basically most Americans don't want to do.
All right, so let me ask you a question there, Eddie. There's 90 million Americans, 90+ million Americans that are out of the workforce, okay? 90+ million people. There's work that could be done by those 90 million people, but instead we're bringing in other people. So all we're doing is perpetuating the unemployment problem we have. The problem is
excuse. Let me tell you something. I could build dog houses and I can make money building dog houses. Trust me, there's a market for it.
Right.
Do you understand that you can create almost anything in this country and you can make a living?
Right. I agree with you.
Nobody's taking a dime from me.
Right. But the statement that you made was that they're taking jobs that Americans just won't do. Well, the reason why is because they want to sit on their butt, a lot of them. And that's not the way that we need to do this. We don't need to encourage people to sit on their butt and take money out of the pockets of productive people. We need to have immigrants that come into the country to do some of these jobs, but we need to also make way for those Americans that can be productive to get in the labor force and help make America great again. And I think that's the plan that at least the vision that Trump has. I don't necessarily agree with some of the ways that he wants to go about doing it. But
you know what? I never did get your name. I like your conversation in general. What's your name?
My name is Chris Pilier.
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
In this world, basically, you got to create your own environment. You have to create everything yourself. You get to a point, I don't want to work for nobody else.
Amen.
So you have to come up with something that can generate enough income for you to survive in this world. And nobody else has got nothing to do with it. It's up to you. How many people would agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that, Eddie. And I've said before that the biggest problem we have in this country is that kids are told to go to school to get a job instead of going to school to figure out how to make a job. Wouldn't you agree? That going to college to try to figure out how to go work for somebody else is not the way we need to go?
I was only lucky enough that my parents was able to move into a decent neighborhood, and I went to good schools, and they made me think, what do I want? We had some crappy course called Ideals and Ideology. I'm 57 years old.
Uh-huh.
And that actually made you think about the world in general. We got bogus information about history, all that kind of stuff, but we didn't know the difference at that time. But it gave you a basic concept of what America's about, and it's basically, it comes down to you. And blame nobody else for your failures.
Eddie, I like you, man. You and I we got to actually go to break, Eddie. So I want to thank you for your call. But Eddie, you the man, dude. And look, you and I might vote for different.
I don't think any of that stuff.
Well, you and I might vote for different people, but you and I can see eye to eye on a lot. I can tell.
Yeah.
So look, I got to go to a break, Eddie. I want to thank you for calling. Please call again. And my name is Chris Pilier. I don't know if you're on social media. Look me up. We can connect on social media.
That stuff. But nice talking to you, Chris.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Later.
All right, folks. Stick with us on the Battlefield. We got one more segment. We'll wrap this up on the Battlefield Live radio program with Chris and Trey. If you want to reach out to me, you can call me at 504-556-9696. We'll be right back after this break.
Check out DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops. Don't miss out on their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You get $2 domestic bottles, $1.75 domestic draft, 2-for-1 well drinks, $3 small daiquiris, and $3 wine. On Friday, happy hour starts at 11 a.m. till the sun goes down. DBC also has everything you need to make it your fantasy football headquarters, with 13 big screen TVs, the Sunday NFL package, and ESPN game plan. You won't miss a down. DBC wants you to have your fantasy draft party here. Just call 504-838-2282, 504-838-2282 to book your draft now. DBC Bar and Grill, 1001 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till the party stops.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean,
like
this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com. Battlefield Live with Chris Pilier. Thank you for sticking with us so far. We'll do one more segment here, and we'll wrap things up. Man, look, it's really depressing when you got one of the most important elections that we could say in modern American history, and which is scary is the choices that we have are not very good. And some of you may disagree, but we can agree to disagree, right? While this is going on, I'm looking at what's trending on Facebook. And keep in mind, folks, that Facebook is, believe it or not, the more mature version of social media. Most of the kids now are on Snapchat. Twitter's out there, so you can watch what's going on Twitter, which Twitter has actually, to me, a better trend to see what people are talking about. Facebook, I think, is a little biased because it's actually people picking out what's trending. Twitter uses an algorithm. So this is what's trending right now on Facebook. You got Jeff Fisher, who is would be surprised if Rams mimicked Kaepernick. Arian Foster, Dolphin Arian Foster on Kaepernick. I understand 100% of what he's doing. How about this one? Amnesty Don trends on Twitter after Scarborough goes on amusing anti-Trump rant.
about this one? Anthony Weiner. Yes. If you got a guy's name, I mean, you couldn't get any crazier of a story. A guy by the name of Anthony Weiner keeps showing his wiener to everybody. Anthony Weiner caught in another sex scandal report. This is actually pretty damn disgusting, folks. I don't know if you saw this story, but this guy basically has been showing his junk to girls all over the internet. And he finally tells a girl that he's got to get off of the phone and because his child is next to him. So he takes a picture of his junk in his underwear with this kid right next to him. Disgusting, right? How about this one? Don Cheadle tells Trump, die in a grease fire. Former Nuggets coach Bernie Bickerstaff talks when Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf sat for the anthem. Jim Brown, I'm with Colin Kaepernick 100%. Nico Hood, let's see, that's dumb. And, of course, Colin Kaepernick. 1 million people talking about it. You see how social media and everything has been absorbed about it? Now, look, I do a radio program. I can't not talk about it. I got to talk about it in a way to show that it's ridiculous. You know, I'm always caught between a rock and a hard place when I come across these topics because I realize there's important things to talk about. But we got to address it, and we got to show it for what it is. And if it's trending, if we also post about what's trending, people will pick up on it. And hopefully their eyes will be open and realize how stupid they're being. The media is in full-fledged anti-Donald Trump mode, whether you like him or not. They're totally ignoring Hillary Clinton. All the ridiculous stuff, the criminal activities she's been participating in, all the stuff with these emails, nobody's talking about it. Why? Because the echo chamber has been opened to bash Trump and distract us from everything else. So we're going to get into some of that tomorrow. We're going to dig into Hillary Clinton tomorrow. We got to start talking a little bit more about her. And in the meantime, folks, like I said, this week is our last show, a last set of shows here on WGSO 990 AM. Thanking all the folks at WGSO. We have 2 more shows tomorrow and Wednesday. Make sure that you connect with us on lanterns.buzz if you like the show. You can also get our podcast at Spreaker.com. Just go to Spreaker.com, get the app. You can get it on your phone, your mobile phone, and you can listen to me anytime you want. We'll be doing, I think, 5 hours a show a week, maybe 10. I'm trying to decide whether I want to do 10 hours a week. You can get SoundCloud. You can find us there as well. These are all free, by the way, folks. YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Player.fm, and we'll have the ability, we'll have it set up to where you can call us. That won't happen right away out of the gate, but we are going to set it up so you can call us on the internet and you can listen to us anytime. That's what's great about all this technology, folks. You can listen to this program anytime you want, any time of day. You can pause it. If you got to go take a break and go do something, you come back, you hit play, and you can listen to us. Also, I want you to follow me on Twitter at Paul Revere again. Folks, if y'all not on social media, I understand some of you are not into the technology stuff, but it's a really easy way to reach out. And look, you can reach out to me at any time, and I'll chat you back. So twitter.com/Paul Revere again, or at Paul Revere again. And you can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Paul Revere again. You can find the Lanterns Radio Network at lanterns.buzz. I'm hoping to have probably 30 to 40 hosts over the next couple of weeks signed up, and they'll be launching their radio show on the Lanterns Radio Network, and we're going to work to fix the machine. So I hope you join us on the battlefield of ideas, and we illuminate the light of truth on Lanterns Radio Network at lanterns.buzz, the website lanterns.buzz. Thank you for joining us at WGSO 990 AM, folks. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Later, Tater.